Hi, this is PD at BurgZerg Arcade at BurgZergArcade.com, and today's another little question and answer series. I've got a few questions here. Now, I've actually gone ahead and deleted one. I meant to, uh, I actually haven't deleted it, but basically what it was just a question asking what's the advantage of using a game engine? And this person who had asked it had been using C++ for a while. They've been learning C++ for a while. So basically, a game engine for me personally, the advantage is the fact that since I do most stuff by myself or in a small team, a game engine can really accelerate how fast the project moves because a lot of the basics are already done for us. Uh, it can literally turn a project that would normally take, months to do into literally weeks, maybe even days, depending exactly what you're going to do. Another benefit is the fact that since I use the Unity game engine, I'm just going to use this as an example. There's a lot of smart people at Unity. Their whole collective knowledge that they've put into Unity, I'm pretty sure I'm never going to be able to match that. I think it would be quite the bragging right to be able to say that you could. But anyway, sure, learning C++ is still good, and I'd recommend everyone learn a lower level language. And I would say C++ would be the lowest or the highest level language I would consider a low level language. I'd still probably recommend going back and learning something like C. There's just certain things that you learn when you look at lower level languages that kind of demystify all the stuff that happens at the higher level languages. More than just memory management. There's just the way things work, especially in memory. It's always funny to look at the expression on someone's face when when something's demystified for them. It's just like, oh, science. But hopefully the chinchillas are not being too loud. You gonna be quiet back there? They just love that new wheel. But anyway, back to the questions. The first one I'm going to answer here will be at 57. I guess technically it's the second one. How would I set this state? See, this is on spawn points and spawning mobs. How would I set this state on a timer rather than manually? We'll be getting in. I assume you mean how do you spawn on a timer as opposed to the way we're doing it right now. We will be getting into that when I start doing respawns. But first we got to get into actually killing a mob before we try to respawn it. But I will be covering that a little later on. Next question. When I press S, instead of moving backwards like it should, the character starts rotating in some weird way. Any clues? This is on number 92, player movement 2.0. I would check the input manager. I've seen a lot of these questions, and usually it's something you've screwed up in the input manager. Maybe you've got the wrong axis or something like that. But that's where I would start looking. So the next one, and I got the names exposed here. Since they're public comments, they could go look up, see who it is anyway. Sorry about that. But anyway, the next one, whoops, sorry. It's on number 33, instantiating our character. I have the same issue as saving. Playerprefs simply won't do the trick. Basically, the Windows registry, it's really messy when they save to the registry, so he's tried using YAML, and he's looking at possibly saving to a binary file. I would personally recommend against that right now. Playerprefs is supported along all of the platforms, so it's very easy to take your game from one platform to the other, especially if you're using Playerprefs. That's also another one of the advantages of using the game engine the way it's set. Well, Unity game engine is it's just so easy to go cross-platform. And for saving for binary files, if you're making a web-based game, you're not going to be able to save binary files anyway on their system. You just can't do it for security reasons. And of course, depending on the security settings that person has set up on their computer, you might not be able to create those binary files anyway. But as far as Playerprefs go, if you're really having trouble looking at it in the registry and you can't make heads or tails of what's saved in there, it has been a while since I've looked at it. I would go ahead and just either make some sort of console in game where it prints out to that, or actually just go ahead and use debug log statements to go ahead and grab whatever's stored in the registry and print it out to the debug log statements. Now, a lot of the errors that I picked up during this series from people, when they were saving their values to their player prefs, they'd save it under one string. Then when they went to load it up, they'd load it up and look for a different string, and that different string was usually just a typo. They didn't capitalize something, or they missed a space, spelling was different. 99% of the errors were just that typo. Later on, I'm not sure what video, we do actually go ahead and redo game settings into game settings 2. And we set up a bunch of constants or constant strings for these values, so it cuts down on all those typos. But like I said, I would probably just go ahead and use the console. I would stick with playerprefs at least for now. Now the next we have is on tutorial number 20, base character class 3 of 3. And he says, I've got 30 errors and more than half say the name GetSkill does not exist in the current context. What do I have to do? And this error here, while it might not be the exact same error, excuse me, I get fairly often. And the problem is GetSkill. It's looking for a function called GetSkill, or it could be looking for a variable, or it's looking for something called GetSkill, and it can't find it. And again, almost every scenario where this occurs is because the person forgot to check the spelling. So maybe he spelled GetSkill with small s or small g or something like that. So go ahead and actually check your function name to make sure it's spelled exactly the same. Capitalization does matter. What else? Oh, sometimes you'll actually be calling the wrong class and trying to access a method in a class that doesn't exist. Now, if you're following along with this tutorial series, chances are you're calling a function that doesn't exist because the spelling's wrong. So check the spelling. Next one, number 2. So asset script player health. Okay, this here I just wanted to look how to debug your problems here. I didn't get the error there, so take a look at the error message that you're actually getting here, and it's telling you right now the type of error, which will be down here. And it's actually telling you where the error is too. It's on line 26, and I believe the second number is how many characters in from the left side that you have to go before you find the error. And you get the error code, which I really don't know what they mean, but it's telling you that object assignment, call, increment, decrement, and new object expressions can only be used as an assignment. The chances are you'll probably have some sort of error around the equal sign. There's probably an equal sign there. It doesn't always occur around the equal sign. There's other mathematical operators that you can use that you can get this error on. But go ahead and check to see if you've got an equal sign. And like I said, the takeaway here is just a bit of learning on how to debug your code. It tells you the line. And as far as the error goes, I would actually go ahead and learn how to just use Google, because honestly, it can take me like a week before I start answering these questions. And if you Google that error, you'll probably get a much faster response. And debugging is a skill you're going to have to learn. There's just no way around it. All right, and the last one's on video 5, melee combat 1 of 3. And I've copied the script exactly, yet the F key does nothing. There's no error message. It just doesn't do anything. The first thing that comes to mind off the top of my head is to make sure that you actually attach this script to what you're supposed to attach it to. I've done that a few times. Pretty sure everyone else has too. And if you do have it attached to what it's supposed to be attached to in the video, go ahead and take a look at in the block where pressing the F key is. Maybe throw a debug line inside of the block where the F key action takes place after you've pressed it, and throw some sort of debug log statement out. It could actually be capturing the F key, but maybe the code itself on what it's supposed to do after it's pressed is not doing something. So go ahead, throw a debug log statement in there and make sure you have it attached. Anyway, that's all the time I have right now for questions. So thanks for submitting them, and thanks for watching. I'll see everyone later. Bye-bye.